and showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. We'll look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am the executive editor of the ChannelPro Network, seated side by side this week with my co-host Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement consultant for MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, tell the good people where we are this week.
This week, Rich, we are in Anaheim, California at Dave Seibert's quarterly SMB TechFest event.
And we're both speaking here, as a matter of fact. The show is going on as we record right now around us. SMBTechFest.com, by the way, check it out. He does these events here in Anaheim 4 times a year. Now, I got in last night, in fact, from Microsoft Inspire, and that is going to help us dive right into our top story of the week. I was not quite inside. Media is not allowed inside Microsoft Inspire anymore. I was very, very near Microsoft Inspire in Las Vegas, meeting with a lot of different vendors. And the top story I decided to zero in on this week comes from one of those vendors we met with, CloudJumper. Now, they sell software for managing and provisioning, enabling cloud workspaces. And they've been really plugged in with Microsoft since Microsoft last fall introduced its Windows Virtual Desktop product. Now, right now, Windows Virtual Desktop is in a public preview. It's not a full-blown, generally available product, but that GA milestone is expected to come probably sometime this year in 2019. So what CloudJumper announced at Inspire is a number of different things. They announced an alliance with NVIDIA to tighten the integration between the CloudJumper software and NVIDIA's virtual GPUs, which is going to enable people who use this Windows Virtual Desktop product to handle graphics-intensive workloads a little more easily. They announced an alliance with a company called IGEL that does thin client computing. Again, they're sort of tightening their integration there and making it easier for MSPs to build a complete bundle that would combine Windows Virtual Desktop, thin client software and hardware from IGEL and CloudJumper software into a comprehensive package. Perhaps most significantly, they introduced an update, version 5.3 of their Cloud Workspace Management Suite that draws on some Microsoft APIs to help companies actually provision, roll out, manage these WVD, Windows Virtual Desktop environments. And the idea there, again, they're in public preview. The thinking isn't that people are actually going to be productizing that just yet, but as the CloudJumper folks put it, here's a chance to kick the tires a little bit and familiarize yourself with this technology before it comes out. And the main reason I wanted to highlight it as the top story on this week's episode is just as we have said before at ChannelPro, on our podcast, I'm pretty sure here on the 5-Minute Roundup, Windows Virtual Desktop is the next Office 365. It's something you may not even have heard of yet, but you are going to hear about it soon. Microsoft is going to be publicizing the heck out of this once it's generally available. And it's going to be a pretty compelling offer when you combine a virtual desktop from Microsoft and all the advantages that go with that VDI deployment scenario. And you roll that together with Office 365. And if you're buying it through the Microsoft 365 bundle, you're getting some management and security in there as well, all for a monthly subscription price. It's probably going to be pretty reasonable. This is another one of those situations where even if the product doesn't sound all that exciting to you, your customers sooner or later are going to be looking for it. So I would say, and whether you do it with the CloudJumper software or not, I just continue to say basically this is something that you need to be keeping your eyes on, investigating, thinking about how you're going to incorporate it into your Microsoft practice, your Office 365 practice today, because it is coming soon.
You know, Rich, I will take it one step further and say it is going to be a game changer for IT providers, because if you think about it, you know, the ability to virtualize these desktops like we've been virtualizing servers for so many years now allows the client to extend the life cycle of the equipment that they're using for compute. Because remember, this stuff works through a browser, and all you need is a good internet connection. And it's great to hear that CloudJumper is partnering with NVIDIA to get that tight integration with the video, because that's always been kind of one of the hurdles with virtualization, is just getting that crisp video for power users and things like that. Allowing the ability for you to scale this massively to your clients that now have remote workers or thinking about remote workers and teleworkers, controlling the environment, future-proofing it, security-proofing it. So if there's an issue, blow away, the image, start back up fresh. There are tons and tons of nice benefits, but our friends that really are still hugging hardware, servers and desktops, you've got to, as you mentioned, Rich, really think about how you're going to transition to support this, because trust us, Microsoft's going to market the heck out of this, and every business owner is going to be asking you about it. So bring the fight to them first, have a strategy on how you're going to support it, adjust your service and support plans to support these virtual workloads instead of supporting hardware. And I think that is a big sea change that I predict needs to happen, Rich.
If you've ever had the thought that I wish I had been early to the Office 365 story, I could have made tens of millions of dollars or whatever. Here's your second chance, basically, because, again, this is the next big thing coming from Microsoft. It isn't very prominent on a lot of radars right now, and it's an opportunity for you to get out in front of it. Eric, you've got some interesting, some controversial thoughts to share in your tip of the week.
Yes, Rich, I'm just going to say it. Fire some clients, people. It's interesting that we always think about building our hit list of potential prospects and potential customers that we want to engage with. I think that we should also, and it's controversial, I'm going to say it, we should also have a list of the clients that we want to, let's say, release back to industry, RBI, as we used to call it back in the boot camp days. So you've got to think about this, and when you get to a point in the building and the maturity of your business when you can say no to a client instead of bringing them on because there's a couple of red flags and you don't get that warm and fuzzy, go ahead and don't take that client on. And as a matter of fact, if you're interviewing with a potential prospect and you think, I'm not sure, do a pilot project with them first. Do something small to let you both feel each other out and see how it is to work with them. That may be a way for you to manage some of that risk, because, you sign a long-term agreement. If you don't have the appropriate clauses in there that allow you to get out, you may regret that. So, figure out who you're going to replace. Quick story, Rich. I had a client that I learned this from, who was an accounting client in Irvine, California. And I met with him one day, and I was really starting to get my strategic, chops. I was trying to build my strategic acumen. And I said, what do you want out of this organization in the next 3 to 5 years? And his answer kind of surprised me. He said, I want to be the highest paid accounting firm in Orange County, California. And I said, how are you going to do that? And he said, well, every year I'm going to take the bottom third of my clients, I'm going to sell them off to these other accountants that I have in my network, and I'm going to then bring on new clients at a higher rate than everyone else. And he did that consistently every single year. So think about that. If you've got clients that don't fit your company culture, you're just having issues with them, they're not strategic. We always look for strategic or dependent clients, and then we always may have a few that are averse. Those are the first ones that you should think about replacing with more strategic clients in the future.
And I think a lot of people watching this right now are thinking, I'm willing to fire the clients who abuse my employees for them. There are cases, obvious cases, where almost anyone will say, sure, we need to get rid of those clients. But I think the ones you're talking about are the ones who are generating maybe the same amount of revenue as everybody else, but they're calling the help desk 5 times as often, and they need more hand-holding than anyone else. That there really isn't necessarily anything bad about, and you have this concept of dividing your customers up into the A, Bs, and the Cs, and the Cs are the ones who are making you the least money and costing you the most time, and there really is nothing wrong with just making the decision that we want to part ways with them.
Right, and how do you do that easily, right? Well, you probably know who your competitors are. You may have smaller organizations that you may do business with today. So there's always, I always try to find a home for someone. Don't just cut them off and be done with them. Try to, take the high road and just let them know that you're moving in a different direction. Or, one way to take the emotion out of this is to analyze the lifetime value of each of your clients. And when you see clients that just aren't achieving that or not trending that way, or maybe trending down, and are causing, as Rich said, a little friction, just want to do things their own way and things like that, slow paying you and those kinds of things. And I'm not just saying, hey, wholesale, go out and fire 30 of your clients. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, look, think about having a list of the folks that if you, were going to trim the herd, let's say, who would those people be?
Well, great tip. Leaves us with time for just one more story this week. Comes to us from Loretto, Tennessee. And I'll open it up with a question: what could be scarier than an alligator? How about an alligator on meth? Good tip from the Loretto Police Department in some social media posts recently, basically encouraging folks to stop flushing methamphetamine down the toilet. Gets into the water supply, and then alligators start consuming it. Next thing you know, you've got meth alligators. Something to be avoided, I would say.
Alligator apocalypse on meth. Not a good thing.
Not a good thing. So good tip, Loretto, Tennessee. Thank you. And that is all the time. Speaking of good tips, we've offered you a few here, but we're out of time here on the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup for this week. If you like the show, you'd like to maybe see some episodes that you didn't get a chance to watch before, keep up with the forthcoming ones, go to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube and subscribe there. If you click the little bell, you'll even get notifications when there's a new episode coming for you. You want to read more about news out of Microsoft Inspire, including the news by CloudJumper, but some other vendors as well who had announcements there. You go to channelpronetwork.com. And in fact, please visit every day. We have got great new content for you, not only about the news, but on business growth strategies every day for you. To learn more about Eric and his company and the work he does with his clients, the place to go is ericsimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. So we're out of time for this week. We will be back next week with another episode of 5-Minute Roundup for you. Until then, please enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.